Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Scratch a Track podcast presented by the Dude and Grim Show and co-produced by Mr. IVEST. I'm the Dude.
And I am Grim. And today we're going to take a little trip to Akron to the rubber factory and talk about the Black Keys Rubber Factory.
Yes. Third studio album. Released September 7th, 2004.
Crazy that's almost coming up on 20 years. I mean...
yeah, that is pretty
by the
wild.
time this airs... No.
And they just came out with their 11th studio album, which we discussed. So if you have not listened to that, and more importantly, if you've not watched our episode on it, you should definitely check that out.
I would do that.
And, give us a like and subscribe too. So that way you can be notified every time we come out with a new episode. So... today, however, Grim, we are going to be doing a full scratch.
Full scratch. Nothing less, nothing more. Looking forward to it. I think it's about time we got to these guys again. We have done one on Brothers. So if you haven't, go ahead and
like, subscribe, and comment below.
Episode on Brothers.
Because that's a good album. But we're going to go back a few years.
Rubber Factory, 2004.
You know, this is, I mean, they were gaining steam as a band, but certainly had not reached anywhere of the notoriety that they received with an album like Brothers. Now, what I love about this album, just kind of overall right out the gate, is one, it's self-produced by the band.
Yep.
Low budget, very raw, and not only, and that just comes through in the recording so well, right?
Well, yeah, and what I like about it even more is, you have all that stuff. So the first two albums they recorded in Pat Carney's basement, but apparently his landlord sold the place that he lived in. So
jerk,
Plan B, right? But at this point they were signed to at least a small label, Fat Possum Records, who also had a bunch of other good and kind of like-minded artists. I don't even know if they're still around, honestly. I know they were at that time. See Gil Mantero's Party Dream, who was also signed to Fat Possum, but still to the point where maybe they're not gonna send them over to record their next album in Abbey Road Studios. So what do? Plan B.
You rent out the second floor of an old tire factory.
Yeah, which is awesome.
For $500 a month.
The whole floor, the General Tire Factory. Now, it's funny because when you first say that, to me, as someone having been in a band and recorded, there almost sounds like this kind of awesome, sort of romantic thing about it. It sounds really cool until Pat Carney says, that it was such a great idea until they had to lug all their stuff up to the second floor and you couldn't open any of the windows and there was no air moving through there and it was hot and the acoustics were absolute garbage. They had some things stacked up against them other than tires.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I also heard that he he bought their the mixing console that they used off of eBay from a former sound technician of the band Loverboy.
Yeah. So maybe that was the one they used on Working for the Weekend. I don't know.
It's possible. But they had issues with the mixing console, and this album took them almost 5 months to record. Now, I'm sure a lot of that has to do with they were probably working jobs and having time to do all this. But, we just talked about, with Delta Cream, how they recorded that in a day or a couple of days or, whatnot. And then their most recent album, I think they did, it sounded like in a few weeks. So they've definitely refined the process. But back then when you're scraping by,
dude,
man,
it's
oh,
all
hey,
you can do.
You got a few hours free? Okay, cool. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go lay down this track.
Yeah.
Right. And when you have, obviously, when you have equipment that is malfunctioning, almost remember Tame Impala's album?
Yeah,
he recorded at the house. He was things would short out and power would go out and we'd lose tracks and stuff. Man, when these bands just don't have the resources, this is, think about all the bands out there who have stories like this.
Oh, I know.
I laid down the perfect track and had to redo it. Right?
Yeah. And sometimes the other interesting story is in the case of True Blue with More, when you had the perfect track and you thought, you know what, I'll give it one more try, and you can never get it back because it was on a digital 8-track.
I mean, tape was at a premium.
Yeah.
Now, dude, they used apparently it was recycled tape provided by Fat Possum as well for this.
Which I think is cool. I'd like to see. I like the fact that they recorded on tape, but I'd like to know like how many tracks they had, and if there's just because there's a lot of. I mean, the way people do things, and especially at this time for them, dude, they could have very easily just done this on like an 8-track tape recorder, not a cassette tape, like a proper reel-to-reel 8-track. But I mean, you could have done this with 8 tracks, and I don't think you'd miss a whole lot.
Yeah, no, I that sounds probably about right for sure. And it's funny because this being recorded in basically an old, just run down, tire factory, which now apparently it's been demolished. And for people like us growing up in the Midwest, I mean, that's kind of a common thing. You'll be driving around and all of a sudden you just look out and there's either like this old worn down, like boarded up building with windows kind of shattered and things like that. Or there's just like
nothing.
A bit. Yeah. There's like nothing, but there's like the concrete foundation, like the flooring is there with the tall grass and all this stuff. And it's just such an interesting thing. And they took a picture of that. And that's what
once it was torn down.
What is it?
Lonely Boy
for the single
for
Lonely Boy, right? And it's just, I guess for people, and maybe people growing up in different areas, but to me, that is just such a Midwestern thing that I know we've seen just a ton.
Well, especially where we grew up on the west side of the state. But I mean, if this were like an encyclopedia entry, it would probably say see Detroit, because there's, especially when you talk about things related to the automotive industry, like this General Tire factory. I mean,
right.
And I like how they incorporated all that into the cover. And I guess, wasn't the cover done by Pat Carney's brother? Is that?
I think so. And you know what? And dude, I have the vinyl, but I'm just going to leave it in my
stack of records.
Man.
But yeah, it is a cool cover. Okay. And I like how it was just sort of a montage of just all these sort of weird pictures that kind of revolved around that factory. There's like the loading docks are in there, the Goodyear blimp, bunch of tires. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, dude, is the traffic light actually green on top, which I think is funny because it's just it's opposite.
Yeah, it looks like red.
It is red. Okay.
Looks like the red light is lit up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just looking at this, I mean, I am no Photoshop expert or professional.
Oh, it's meant to be a hack job though, right? I mean, it kind of, that's it's got a certain charm about it because it's like,
it does.
Yeah. It was never meant for people to look at it and be like, wow, is that a real
like
picture?
The cover and the artwork of More from Dale's Garage a little bit, which at the time was revolutionary. Now it might be looked on a little different.
Yeah.
But dude, man, I might just have to listen to this again once we get done recording this episode because it's on one disc, and I love that.
Yeah, 41 minutes. So yeah, like we said, not recorded at Dan Auerbach's current studio, Easy Eye Sound in Nashville. Probably very limited equipment. Far from it.
But dude, the sound, man.
I know.
When you're recording this style of music, you can get away with that,
and it works.
Really, really can.
And I will say, despite the comments that Patrick Carney made about the acoustics being terrible in the building, I mean, I feel like they did an excellent job working around that, because when I listen to it, I don't think, oh my gosh, this sounds like it was recorded in like a bathroom stall or something. I mean, it sounds like it should, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm good with it, man. I'm really good with it. I don't know, man. What do you think? Are we ready to kind of get into the tracks and go track by track?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know that there's any. I will say, and I know usually you talk a lot of numbers, I don't know what it got rated when it came out. I would imagine it got rated high because I know there was a lot of hype around them and they were just like a really cool, unique band then. But even looking at the ratings retrospectively, it still garners really good ratings. Mostly.
As it should, man.
Yeah.
Because, dude,
yeah.
I mean, dude, there was a good 3-year period where the majority of what I listened to was the Black Keys. When it was right before Brothers came out, and then El Camino came out, and it was like, man, that there was like a 3 or 4 year period where, you know, I saw him live a couple of times. Didn't we see him live together in the Bottle Rock?
Yeah, in California.
In Napa? Yeah. And man, you know, I was just fortunate enough to see them a handful of times, and was just really, really into
kind of watch them, you know, grow and progress. Yeah, that's really cool.
And man, and this was definitely one of the albums that like put the hook in me for
now,
sure.
Did anyone specifically introduce you to it, or?
You know, it was either, I mean, I don't know who I got them. I think I got most of the stuff from Joe Boo, or I got it from you, or I
don't think it was me.
I don't know. Okay.
I know Leifer
so I had a bunch of their albums that someone had given to me. And so I'd listen to a little bit, but then Brothers came out, and I remember just hearing that. And in like 1 week,
it was a big one.
I had heard Brothers, and the Black Keys were then playing Lollapalooza, and I bought a ticket, and they weren't headlining. I mean, they were like one of the mid-tier kind of bands, you know. And so I bought a ticket for, I think, like $90 or something, because I was like, I want to go see them. So I paid like $90 to go see their 45-minute set.
You didn't see anyone else?
Oh, no. I mean, I went there.
Okay.
Saw whoever it was, but it was like just the day pass. And like that was my purpose for going.
Wow.
I couldn't tell you who played before him. I couldn't tell you who played after him. But it
wasn't that time we saw Rocky Erickson though, right?
It was not. It was not that time.
Okay.
No. 13th Floor Elevators.
Yeah.
Classic.
Well, yeah.
Right, enough BS.
Yeah, I think we get into the tracks, man. So, you know, When the Lights Go Out as the opener.
Yeah. Dude, what a great way. I love starting with kind of like the drum beat or the kick drum, and just how big that sounds.
I think there's kick and toms in there, but it's really big. It's a really big sound and just carries it throughout. And I like that too. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there may be some acoustic in the background with the electric.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. There's definitely
which they don't have a whole lot of that. I mean, up to now, it's not really their thing, you know. So that to me, that was kind of interesting just to have that, especially on the opener.
Yeah. And I mean, again, his vocals are really raw and rough. It's a big, loud song. Like, it's a strong song, but it has a sort of this slower, kind of dirtier feel to it.
I agree with that.
I really feel like I could see it being sort of almost like an opening credit song to like a Western movie or something like that.
I was thinking you would say Western.
It has this down south blues feel, but that acoustic to me gives it sort of I don't know.
I know there's something
about it. Like, yeah, I could just see that. So, I mean, dude, yeah. That definitely hooked me. 10 a.m. Automatic. First question for you. Have you seen the video?
No, I have not. I feel bad. I should have done my homework better, but I mean, like, that's really a surprise if you look at my life up to now.
Directed by
Spike Jonze.
Not Mike Romanek, not Michel Gondry, not Spike Jonze. One, Tobias Funke, a.k.a. David Cross.
Stop it. Oh my gosh. Pause the episode. I want to watch that right now. Is he all like in it? Did he just blew himself? Or
he's not even in it. Yeah, he blew himself. Yeah. Just carrying out a tape recorder. Parts. So many parts. Anyways, it's a fun video. Basically, there's this. It's almost like this infomercial type thing, not even infomercial, where there's this rabbi reading and talking, and there's like this audience of about 10 really old people. And then the Black Keys come out and they play this song, and then like nobody claps or anything, or they're just
that's
like, hey.
Weird, but I still want to see it.
it's this awkward silence, and then they just leave. So
that's
anyways,
sweet.
Yeah. But and I believe the rabbi, however, is played by the dentist on the city council board in the show Parks and Recreation.
Is that
I forget the character's name.
Is he on
like frizzy hair? He's a dick in the show.
Oh, I was thinking it was.
He's always trying to mess with Leslie.
Well, yeah, for sure. I'd have to look at that. I was thinking it was one of the. I thought I was gonna think you were gonna say Chris Parnell from Saturday Night Live, but it doesn't sound like him based on the hair.
Yeah. But anyways, so dude, this song really brings the energy.
Yeah,
The first song is strong and powerful, but man, this one really
it's
kicks
more
it into
it's
another
more
gear.
poppy for me, and not like it's a pop song, but I just mean in its chord structure, it's not so much blues like the other ones. Not a criticism, just an observation.
Yeah.
So,
well, dude, to me, this song sounds like it was recorded like in a tire factory, and you know, I actually
wrote that in my notes that it sounds like a factory.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Sweet,
and it
man.
does.
That's awesome.
It very much does.
Yeah. You know, I never really delved too deep into the Black Keys lyrics. I like the lyrics. I think they're good.
Yeah, but it's not like listening to
me.
Yeah, it's not like listening to Dylan.
But yeah, it's not Dylan. But I do like, you know, oh, what about tonight makes you change from sweet to deranged. You know, you got pain like an addict, 10 a.m. automatic.
Yeah, dude, sure. They're fine lyrics, but yeah.
Yeah. It's not Dylan.
Yeah.
It's not Dylan.
So, Tie Down. One thing I noticed about Tie Down is, of course, it has sort of the, you know, the feel that they've established at this point. But I like that he's playing octaves, the lowest and the highest string, all that. As he's sliding around, you can hear that, and that's
okay.
You can do that with a pedal, but it doesn't sound that pure. Like, my God, could they make this stuff any less pure? You know, that kind of, you know,
my God,
Dr. Gonzo. But yeah, that sounds like he's playing the top and the bottom, the low E and the high E, and just playing the octaves of the notes he wants, which that stuck out to me. I like that. And then the breakdown near the end.
Well, and you do hear, and this is interesting, like in something as a band, when you're a 2-piece band and you're going to play a song live, like the you know, the solo is, you know, it's a nice overdub with the solo, but man, when you're playing this live, you got to take that into account. Like, how do you do that? Like, I don't.
Yeah. So now when they tour, it's probably amazing, but like, you know, Patrick Carney really just had to make some extra noise on the drums to kind of carry him through, you know?
Yeah. Well, it was funny because when I saw them on the, you know, now I think for the most part, at least the past couple of times I've seen them, they're out there with sort of like full band. When I saw them at Lollapalooza on the Brothers tour, the first half of the show was done like just them two.
Now that's cool.
And then
I like that.
And then they, you know, they're like, okay, well, we got to bring other people out because we want to play these other songs.
I like that. So, that's a cool way to do it. Yeah.
Yep. Track number 4.
All Hands Against His Own.
Dude, the intro, I love the intro riff. It has like a lot of attitude to it, and I like it when, you know, kind of guitarists do that. I don't know, that's the only way I can describe it. It's got like some attitude. It's kind of like he's speaking with his guitar.
Yeah, right? and I think this is a good example too of where you almost don't want something that's completely rhythmically and tonally perfect. You want like bends, and you want slight like shifting and messing with the time a little bit, because it makes it more real.
Sure.
That's like the cadence of speech, like you're saying, where he's like speaking through his guitar. It makes it, that's what I think it is it makes it more like the cadence of speech, which if it was perfect, you'd sound like, you know, like you were given directions on Google Maps. Yeah,
right. Well, and I feel like one thing they're really good at, and especially as a 2-piece band, you sort of have to be, you have to do those sorts of things, because you got to kind of constantly, I feel like, you know, change things or make it interesting. You got to have, and one thing they do, especially in this song, they're good at really putting in sort of these simple transitions, which is I think necessary with a 2-piece band. Otherwise, it's kind of getting, after a while, it's going to get boring and stale. So it's like,
sure.
Not that you're gimmicky by any means, but you have to be creative in sort of keeping things.
But that's what's cool, because that's like the whole statement of necessity being the mother of invention. I mean, when what you have is this very simple format, you have to employ these different things along the way, like you said, to differentiate. Otherwise, you could just rewind the first one over and over. Yeah.
Well, also with this song, and there's something that he does. A lot of times, I don't know if I'd say he sings, but a lot of times, he kind of shouts or he speaks the words. In this song, he actually sings and carries melody.
Mm-hmm.
So he does have a variety of ways that, he,
delivers the vocals.
He delivers the vocals. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I like it when he does both. I think it is,
agreed.
It is interesting when he's like, oh, I'm going to sing now. Oh, okay. You're carrying melody. So it's.
Now, the Desperate Man, dude, I think the intro riff to the Desperate Man is one of my favorites. I mean, it is so authentic to the sound that they were going for to begin with, where you're just, it's hard not to just love it. I think it is one of the most classic kind of blues sounds in the album. But then, as the song gets going, they decide to throw in something that brings me back to like straight Revolver area, which is the reverse solo.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, the reverse guitar solo is real sick there.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, when he was, one thing that I noticed is like his, I just talked about his vocals in the other song where he carries melody, and they didn't have a whole lot of effects and things to play with. But this song, the way his voice sounds, it almost sounds like he's like singing through a telephone.
Well, like
it has this.
It sounds like that a lot to me, but I think that helps with sort of the authenticity, because by doing that, it makes it sound old.
Dude, yeah,
it makes it sound old, and that's part of. And I do not want to say the gimmick, but that's part of their sound. I mean, it just it's meant to evoke these ideas of something that came before it.
Yep. Girl is on my mind. Is she ever? Yeah. Always. They do that to you, don't they?
A lot of good drum fills I noted in this one, which is the way it kind of, breaks up a little bit like that. But I also, the dynamics are really good throughout the song, how it kind of builds crescendos and quiets down. And the vibrato on the guitar at the end.
Yeah, that's it. It is really nice.
I'm a fan of the vibrato.
Yeah. This is for me. This is one of my favorite songs on the album.
Okay.
I like how the song. I don't know. Like, I feel like it kind of rocks back and forth. Kind of the beat that ding 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 ding. It's got that. It's got that flow to it. And I definitely dig it. Then we get onto the lengths.
Now this is a big change. This is where
the big change. Really going to slow it down. It's a slow kind of more of a ballad, sad sort of romantic song, right? Dude,
very simple song, but yeah,
simple. But dude, the thing that does it for me is the slide guitar.
That is exactly, dude. It's haunting. It is haunting.
It's weeping. Yeah. It's like it's crying, man. It's just like it's so
and
sad.
It's how it's picked. He's the way it's not the slide. I mean, just the other guitar in general. And I like that because you got that picking, which is very much more staccato, but the slide is such the antithesis of that.
Yeah. And I think this is, there's 13 tracks on the album. This is the first time not every song is balls to the wall, but this is where we really just kind of slow it down midway through. I'm trying to think. Let me just look at let's see if we got the track listing on here. I'm curious on the vinyl where they make the break. Let's see. It looks like So yeah, it looks like they start side 2 with this track.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like they're Here Comes the Sun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly. Yeah. Do 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 do. All right. Track number 8.
Dude.
Grown So Ugly. They obviously, after Delta Cream, obviously they're no stranger to covers.
Yeah.
But this is the Robert Pete Williams cover.
Now, in all fairness, I haven't heard the Robert Pete Williams version, but I have heard the Captain Beefheart version, which is probably, I have, dude, Safe as Milk on vinyl, but one of my favorite songs off of that, and Beefheart sings it so good as a blues vocalist, but the guitar, and one thing I like about it too is when they go into I got so ugly, I don't even know myself. Like when he gets into that part, it's really chopped up and it's a different thing, which it's not as much in the Black Keys version, but dude, when they get into that riff, it is so much thicker and it's so perfect. And I love at the end because they actually double that riff and put some stuff on the top, and it's like extra thick after they get into the Grown So Ugly part. So that's a tough one for me. As much as I love the Beefheart one, dude, this is a hard cover to mess with, dude. Ooh,
dude, it's like quite the contrast to the length. Right.
Yeah. It's a great way to pick it back up. But it was one of the ones when I heard this album for the first time, I was like, oh, damn. Like you went ahead and did that.
Yeah, it kicks you in the teeth. It really, really does.
And in the balls at the same time.
I know. I mean, it's like double kick.
Mm-hmm.
So then we go to track 9. Stack Shot Billy.
The other in my mind perfect example of like the classic blues intro, slightly out of time, but like perfectly in soul and feeling. I mean, it's perfect.
Dude, it is phenomenal. It's might be my favorite song on the album.
I did mark it down as mine.
Okay, I find it interesting. This was not a single. And I believe this is the song that I knew. I don't know if I heard it on a show, a movie, of all songs that I had heard before, like, probably putting this album on and really getting into it. Maybe this is the first song that I listened to and it really just stuck out to me. But man, this is it, man. This really nailed it for me and was like, wow, I love this album. And I feel I'm going to kind of compare this to a song, and it reminds me a little bit in a sense of Rocky Raccoon by the Beatles, as far as it being sort of this story song, right? Like, Stack Shot Billy in the back of the head, and in Rocky Raccoon kind of has those similar themes in the story I'm talking about that they're both telling through the lyrics. That's what I'm talking about. Now, do you want to know something? There.
This story actually has nothing to do with Rocky Raccoon. It has to do with one of the most famous songs in popular music that has emanated from the era of like being a folk song into a rock and roll song. It's been covered by the Grateful Dead. It's been covered by so many people, and that song is Stagger Lee. And if you look at Stagger Lee, is kind of become the bastardized name for it through the years. But the guy who actually shot, and he does, I believe, say Billy Lyons in the Black Keys song. Now, Billy Lyons is the guy who got shot. And the person who shot him usually is referred to as Stag Lee or Stack Lee. And it's Lee Shelton. And apparently this took place in a bar on Christmas Day of 1895. And these two guys were like reasonably decent acquaintances, but got into some sort of an argument. And dude, Stack Lee ended up killing Billy Lyons over a hat. Like in a bar, shot him right in the head. And from that, in 1895, this thing has become this folk song that has emanated from back in the 1800s, the 1890s till today.
Right.
It's really interesting. It's like modern folklore. I mean, it really is. But it's based on a real event, you know?
That's very cool, man.
Yeah.
I like that. Maybe we should do an episode just talking about that event and how it relates to all this, folklore.
I would like
songs.
to, but I don't know that we would ever do as good as my man, what's his name, who does Andrew Hickey, who does the 500 songs, the history of rock music and 500 songs. Dude, I listened to his album his episode on Staggerly, and it would just blew my mind. He had the history like down to everything. It was amazing.
Damn, man, I wish I had that kind of time.
Oh, I know. The episode was like 90 minutes long, but it was so interesting because of just the history. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
But
anyways, so, dude, track number 10, Graham. Act Nice and Gentle, right?
Dude, written by Ray Davies of the Kinks.
I know. I thought you would love that.
I do. And I could actually, because when he plays, like, especially on the Lola and the Money Man versus the Power Go Round, or whatever the hell, the Power Man versus the Money Ground. Dude, he plays that like steel kind of that you could play as a slide guitar in a lot of that. He plays that in Lola, I think, and he plays it in Ape Man. I mean, and I could hear him playing this song on that guitar. Like it would. I'd like to hear a Ray Davies version of this.
You didn't hear that? Okay.
No.
All right. So I listened to it. Yeah. No, I listened to it.
What is it on a Kinks album, or is it just a solo thing?
No, I believe it's on a Kinks album. Because again, I did all these notes like a month ago, so now I forget. But yes, I do believe it is. But it's like this Brit pop song.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask you in this song, I was like, is that a steel guitar or like a 12 string? But is that a steel guitar?
I believe it to be the one Ray Davies plays, or you're talking on
this one.
I could be. I don't know. I really don't know. But I could just picture Ray Davies playing it. I'd love to know. I wish I would have looked up what album it was on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on the Kinks.
I forget.
Something.
I should have written it down.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. I mean.
Yeah. Well, track number 11, Graham.
Yeah.
Aeroplane Blues.
I like this
song
one.
Is just like, it is just dirty and it's violent and it's, dude. I mean, it's
on Something Else by the Kinks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I know I love this one. It's gritty, man. It again, like the sound of the factory. Yeah. You talking about like the feedback and the solo at the end, like that? Yeah, it's.
Yeah, but yeah, eyes are heavy, mind is shook, can't feel, drugs I took.
Yeah, I know. I like that line.
Track number 12, Keep Me. Nice little intro. They get to this kind of, consistent groove.
Yeah.
The song just, it just kind of hops along. It's very, very bluesy, of course, as you would expect.
It is.
But ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. Good lyric. I mean, really good lyrics, though. It just is. So then you go into track 13 of Till I Get My Way.
Till I Get My Way. Dude, it just opens with some just nasty fuzz.
And I like how that eventually kind of takes the place of the bass,
Yeah.
as the song goes on.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really good closing track. I like that it's kind of upbeat. Sometimes when I hear and listen to the blues, like either lyrically, sometimes it can be a little more sadder. There's some things to it that, but this one I don't know. I feel it has a little more upbeat to me.
Yeah. I got you.
Calling on my way, or was it calling on you every day till I get my way? Get my way.
Yeah.
Again, he's just kind of the way he speaks and shouts the words along.
Mm-hmm. Now, solid. not on this album. Apparently, just the Japanese bonus track is their cover of "Summertime Blues" by Eddie Cochran. Now, I would love, and I have not heard this. I really want to hear their version of "Summertime Blues." So, if anyone has the whereabouts of this and could send a link, please go ahead and
subscribe and comment below.
So we could hear that, because I feel like their version of "Summertime Blues" would be amazing. But with that,
to all of our fans in Japan who have, it's not their import, it would be our import. But yeah, please send us a link.
Favorite.
Yeah. Ooh, favorite, dude. I mean, I could give you 4. I could give you Stack Shot Billy, Girl Is on My Mind, When the Lights Go Out, and 10 a.m. Automatic are probably those. That's my top tier.
But what if you had to give me one?
Yeah, I know. Stack Shot Billy. I think it is.
Damn it, dude. Can we go into OT on that?
Sure.
Over.
10 a.m. Automatic.
Okay.
Would be 2.
Okay.
I'd go with 2.
All right.
Yeah. What's yours?
Well, dude, Stack Shot Billy being number 1. Yeah, for sure. And number 2, probably The Desperate Man. Or Act Nice and Gentle. Ooh, tough one.
Woo.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting, man. Interesting. Okay.
Now, the big drum roll. I mean, dude, what's
the big come up?
The big come up, yeah. What's the big come down? Yeah. Oh,
the big come down.
Little Nine Inch Nails reference.
I know. All right, fine. I'll go first. I have 2, but I'm gonna go with 1 here, and it's gonna be "Keep Me."
Okay.
Kind of doesn't. I think it's a fine song. It's it's got all the elements of a good blues song, but it doesn't have, I think, the personality that a lot of the other songs have. Like, going from Aeroplane Blues, which is just with Aeroplane Blues, which is just, kicking you in the face and the balls. And then Till I Get My Way, I think, is a great way to end the album. I could easily just lose Keep Me, I think.
Dude, I really, it's tough not to go into OT. I really considered that, and you'll probably won't like this because there are things that I like in this song a lot, but dude, the lengths is just, and it's not fair. It's not fair to be like, well, it's a departure from the rest of it, because, dude, great albums have departures from the rest of this, but it's just the one that I feel like it's
an outlier.
Well, it's just too long. I mean, if it was a 2-minute song, I think it would go over better, but it's almost 5 minutes, and it's like, it's
the longest song on the album.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't.
And that, okay.
I was just going to say.
That is tough. Yeah. That is tough to have the slowest song on the album be the longest song on the album, too.
I know.
Okay.
It's not us and them. I mean, it just, sometimes it works, and,
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard, man, because it is one of my favorite songs on the album.
Great song. Truly, but it's just, it's the one that if I had to, I would, I would do it.
So my backup was actually Grown So Ugly.
For a scratch?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man, that's hard.
I know, but it's only 228, but I think part of me is just like, especially coming on after the lengths, where I'm just like, it's a little it's just jarring.
I know, but it's so hot,
jarring.
dude. It's such a good riff. It is just
Well,
okay, so we went into OT on our favorites. That's a first. That's a first.
I think that's solid.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
so I mean, with that, I think that scratch is it. I don't know what you'd scratch it with. I'd probably just choose your standard
tire iron.
Yeah, that would definitely. I don't know what it'd do to a tire other than break the lugs,
just a
but it
nail.
would definitely,
Find a nail.
yeah, it would definitely scratch your vinyl LP. So
It would. All right, everyone.
yeah,
Thank you for watching.
Let us know what you would scratch. Tell us we're wrong or right.
Like, subscribe, and comment below.
Because we like to debate. And
Yeah.
we like to... All the comments will help the algorithm, so
Yeah.
please drop it like
below.
it's hot. All right, time to go. Dude Group Show!
Scratch a Track is produced by the Dude and Grim. Additional music provided by More. That's ... MORE and the Tims. TIMNZ. Copyright 2020 to The Dude and Grim Show.